Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. Here we are on day 32, the evening. As you guys know, we're not really talking about the episode, so do not expect a lot of BB Unlocked conversation in this video.
I'm not even watching BB Unlocked.
All right, so with that in mind, though, we have a really epic day thanks to Head of Household Ava. We
Yep.
have to talk about the nominations. Also, Zach's going to use his power, right? Like the implications and the various scenarios. We hope everyone is ready for their head to just like spin around and around and around like a top here.
Yeah, it feels very likely that he will end up using this power. I mean, he's in danger. Everyone up there is in danger at this point. He has a way to get out of it.
Yeah, and I mean, before we even break down the particulars of it, I just want to say I love this week and I love your guy Vince. And it's like, yeah, I'm worried for him, but at the same time, I feel like every true Big Brother fan, somewhere in their core, you want drama, you want story, you want like something that's compelling. It's not that fun to watch one side of the house just consistently dominate. Like if I had it my
No.
way, we would constantly see the rest of this season, the Rachel side of the house, the Vince side of the house, and then we just go back and forth and back and forth. And that way there's like question marks all the way into the finale.
Yeah, you guys know that I really like Vince. I think he's playing a really, really good game, but
Mhm.
I don't like seeing just a power alliance just, rolling over everybody, handing everybody the bus schedule. I want to see the power alliance, have their feet held to the fire so that they have to figure out how to get out of what is happening. I mean, a lot of the greatest Big Brother players have had to be put in danger. What
Yeah.
happens when you're in danger? Can you get out of danger? Show me how good you really are.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what we are really psyched about this week. So,
Yeah.
get your popcorn, buckle in, and before we go further, be sure to hit that subscribe button because guess what? We are literally just a few subscribers
know.
at the time of this recording from 75,000. We are like so unbelievably close. We're waiting with bated breath and hope that it
Crazy.
lands at some point today. But if you want to help us get there, just subscribe. I mean, not only are you helping us, you're also helping yourself to more Big Brother updates. Like we are here every day for those of you who do not know, and we're breaking down everything that is going on in the house and hopefully having a great time chatting with you as well.
Absolutely. And if you want to talk to us further about Big Brother, you can head over to our Patreon. I'll leave a link for you below to check that out. It helps us here at the channel.
Thank you guys. We really appreciate that. Okay, without further ado, like you guys probably know at this point, Ava's the new head of household,
Yeah.
won that knockout competition, and all right, she nominates Vince, Zach, and Keanu. Like this is a gutsy trio. It kind of reminds me way back in season 21 where Jessica nominated like Jack and Jackson and like they really actually had to like square off in that way.
Absolutely. I mean, it felt like if the other side won that Vince was going to go up, and he should go up. I say this of course as someone who is a fan of Vince and I'm enjoying his gameplay. He's got to go up, and if he doesn't go up, people around him, Zach, Lauren, people that are working with him, need to go up. Now here's the thing, tinfoil
Yes.
hat, I just don't think that Vince is actually going to go. I said this in the last video
Yeah.
too. If he goes up at this point, there's not enough votes to actually get him out. You need to get out the people around him to whittle down his vote so you can get him out.
Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of a flamethrower to these nominations now, and I know people are gonna get mad at me, and that that's fine. That's fine. It's not the first time, but anyway, I just feel like Ava made a big mistake here nominating Keanu, and I get it. I get the arguments for it. Like she's even given some of the arguments for it. Keanu did have that moment at the veto competition, which was overblown based on everything we saw in the actual episode. Like that happened. I understand he's an easy person to put up who nobody's going to be mad at. I even understand that you put him up and he's somebody who could easily win the veto over Zach and Keanu, but just roll with me here. We're going to play around with the numbers here for a second because let's get into a hypothetical where at the end of all the craziness of this week, we end up where it's Vince and Keanu on the block together and the votes are between the two of them. You could be in a situation here. The only people Ava may have are Mickey, Rachel, Ashley, and Will. That's four. you need 5 and then you need to break the tie.
Yeah.
Vince could then be in a situation where he has Morgan, Kelly, Riley, Catherine, Zach, and Lauren. And then you've basically wasted your whole week getting rid of somebody in Keanu, who I know it's not like he's part of her end game or anything like this. This isn't a Mickey level disaster, but it's just like you're leaving that entire part of the house still together. You're not really doing any damage to them at all. So it just feels like a waste.
Yeah, Keanu was the one person that I was kind of like, really? Really? You know, I mean, she kind of had this argument of like, oh, I don't want to keep putting Kelly up over and over again. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
but you're going to put him up over and over again. He's been going up since like the beginning.
Well,
It's it's so weird and it doesn't make a lot of sense. You don't want to put up somebody that, you know, a lot of the house does want to get rid of against someone like Vince, who not everyone does want to get rid of, but you want to get rid of.
you're just taking a big risk, assuming a number of different things. Yes, Keanu has won multiple vetoes, but Casey won one of those vetoes. So it's like, really, he's only won a couple.
Well, the other thing is Zach won this $10,000 and Vince has won HOH. So, you know, everyone that's up there has won.
Yeah, it's not like this is a sure thing that Keanu's going to win this competition. You know, he hasn't
No.
really been in the blockbuster, but there's no guarantee he's going to win that either, because a lot of them are not altogether like physical. They're cerebral. They're like ultimate brain power. And
Mhm.
it's just like, you know, Keanu's been a little bit delusional at times, but he still has a chance. But
Yes.
it's not a lock. It's just, okay, if I was in this situation as Ava, I think I would just sort of have this realization that, all right, you know what? If I'm going to make this huge, gutsy, really impressive move and go after Vince and Zach, I'm throwing Lauren up right there with them, because
100%.
it's like at this point, Lauren's not going to be like, oh, I'm so grateful that I was saved, that I'm never coming after you. Like, Vince is her number one. Going after Vince is basically going after her. You're trying to chip away at her allies. You might as well have made the move and ensured that you got rid of one of these big people, because you're also setting up the situation here, because this is another big what if. What if Lauren plays in the power of veto? What if Lauren wins? She then takes down Vince. Then Zach uses his power, removes himself from the block. Then you have to have a couple more people. Sure, you can maybe put Morgan up there, but then what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean that's a huge problem that could absolutely end up happening, where you end up with Vince off and Zach off, and then what? And then Lauren is safe as well. I mean, this was a real miscalculation on that. Like, I understand why she wanted Vince and Zach up there,
Yeah.
and she doesn't obviously know about Zach's power.
Mhm.
That feels like he will probably end up using. And for me, it makes sense. Like, I would love to have $10,000.
Of
If I was
course.
him, I would probably just keep the $10,000 because I'm broke. But at this point for him, I mean, you know, he's a younger guy. He's maybe thinking, I've got more chance to make more money. And I feel really good that I could get further in the game because I do have a big alliance. I do have people that I trust. And we will all continue to protect each other and work to get really far in the game. And of course, there's the fame aspect to it too. There are young people that want to build Instagram and all that kind of stuff as well. That might be worth more than the $10,000. And I think that it is.
Okay, let's go back a little bit in a time machine, all the way to 2000. Let me make sure the year is right here. I think it is 2006 or 2007. I'm old now. I don't remember.
Okay. Beep, bop, 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 boop. Okay.
We are now in one of those 2 years. And I filmed the syndicated version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire at this point. And I was in this position where I was at 16,000. I was going for the $25,000 question. I used the 50-50 lifeline. And it was this interview with Barbara Walters. Who is she talking to when she asks, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? And the choices were Katharine Hepburn or Nancy Reagan. Not that I'm fully remembering this and have thought about it every day the rest of my life, as though I would have gotten the rest of the questions right or anything. But my point here, I had a 50-50 chance to get 25,000, but I was looking at 16 and being like, you know what? I've never had this kind of money. And that's to say, I would just hold on to this $10,000 if I have the opportunity to, because it's a situation where you don't know if you're going to win. The odds of you winning this show are still really, really fractional. And like, that's money you don't know if you're going to get anything else. You really want to lose that. And then also, this is the funniest part. You're basically giving that $10,000 to the person who put you on the block.
Absolutely. But I mean, Zach may not only be there for money. I
Yeah.
mean, there's lots of ways to get money, but most people are on reality TV because they want something else as well. It's great to have the money, but
Hmm.
they're also looking for whatever to start their own podcast. We know tons of Big Brother people come out and do that,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
to be famous, to be Instagram influencer, to get sponsorships, to do whatever, go on celebrity cruises. There's a whole bunch of other reasons that all revolve around fame. If you're going on TV, that's part of why you're going on TV. You're not just there to be like, oh man, I'd really like to get a little bit of money. You're on reality TV for multiple reasons, and $10,000 might be worth that to stay longer, because the longer you stay, the more likely you have an opportunity to gain more fans.
Yeah, and this is why, because nobody really knows about Zach's power at the time of this recording, it sets up all of these really interesting scenarios. Like, I think we can all agree, if Zach doesn't win the power of veto, like, yeah, for sure, he's going to use it on himself.
Yes,
It's
he
like you
is.
don't want to run that risk. But if this is a situation where, let's say, Zach wins the power of veto and he can play it on Vince, Vince can then come off the block.
Yep.
Do you want to lose $10,000 to save somebody who you think is an impossible ally in a shield, or keep the $10,000? Because there's the other part of this where it's like you reveal that you have this power and you haven't told anyone the whole game. Like, is that going to be something where everyone is like, oh, you're really good at keeping a secret, maybe you're a target now? Like, does that go through his head as well?
Or maybe he'll try to find a way, if he can, to lie about it and just be like, you know what? I knew I had this $10,000, but they just told me that I'm allowed to use it for something else. And he can try to lie about it if he's allowed. Because I know a lot of times it's like, you can't talk about production. You can't talk about production. So you can't make up these lies about production like you can on Survivor.
Yeah, like there's a good he might try everything under the sun with this. And I think, once again, because he hasn't told anyone, we're left in all these situations. Because here's another one. Is he going to be worried? It's like, okay, I use my veto on Vince, then I play my $10,000. Like, is Lauren going to go up? Is Lauren then going to go out the door? And I have a crush on Lauren. And my feelings, are they going to get in the way of my game?
I just feel like, I mean, we haven't spoken about Zach's crush in quite a while now, and it feels a lot like he's got it under some sort of control. I don't think that he's going to give up his money, game, fame, all of those things because Lauren might leave. It's not the same situation as Riley, who's like, I will burn down my world for you.
Yeah, I don't think he would do that either. I think Zach is a fairly rational player. I think he's pretty good. He's not as good as Vince, but he's definitely
No.
one of the better players in the house at this point. But during her apparent nomination ceremony, obviously that we haven't seen this yet, but apparently Ava said in there, because obviously if you're putting up big threats, big targets like this, you have to have a reason.
Mhm.
She went on with this logic of, okay, you know what? You guys, you didn't seem that happy that I won. You seemed nervous. You seemed anxious or shocked. It's like, well, that means you don't trust me. You're not working with me. It's like, okay, you could just say that they're threats, and that might actually be
Yes.
more believable than this.
Yeah, that is more believable than what you are putting out there. I mean, Keanu won and you said nothing and nobody clapped and nobody did anything. What's he going to do then? Put the whole house on the block? It's just, it sounds ridiculous. It doesn't feel real. Just say it. You guys are in a clear alliance. I am obviously not part of that alliance. Welcome to the block.
Zach was big mad after all of this. And you could see that Zach is one of these people who's pretty buttoned up and like he's not going to try to show his emotions, but he was stewing in the house. It felt like he was just about to boil over at any given point. Like at one point, he's off basically saying, this is all Rachel's fault. Rachel did this. Rachel puppeted Ava. Another point, he's like, I haven't trusted Ava. It's her fault that Adrian went home because she wouldn't
Oh
join
my
us
God.
on this 7-person block. And then me and Vince didn't want to force Lauren into breaking a tie. That's the thing here, Zach. It's really your fault and Vince's fault that Adrian wasn't saved. It's not Ava's fault. It's just
It's
so.
also not Rachel's fault. Like, Rachel is out here giving her opinion to
Yes.
everybody, but I truly feel at this point that Ava is making her own choices
Yeah.
and cackling about them.
It's true. Yeah, I love Ava's confidence. Like, this is the thing I will always love about Ava is that even if I don't agree strategically with every single thing she says or does, she owns them. She's pretty entertaining to watch. She's fairly direct, or her lies are fairly
Her
direct.
lies are fairly direct.
Like, because Zach went up there to the HOH room and they had a conversation after nominations, and she tried to sort of justify what she was saying by saying in part, oh, I didn't want to put up Kelly or Riley because they were just on the block. So, I wouldn't
Like
want
Keanu, who you just put up. It's
Keanu.
so ridiculous. Like, Ava, listen, there's things I like about her, things I don't. This is one of the things that I don't, which is just that if you're going to have that logic, you can't then sort of be a hypocrite about it and be like, oh, Riley and Kelly, they were just on the block, so I wouldn't do that to them. But then you've got Keanu over here who's been on the block since he came into the house, basically, like every single week he was just on the block. Why is it not okay here, but it's okay here?
It just feels like Ava has this huge blind spot when it comes to Keanu in a lot of ways that do not feel clear to me, where it's just like, I think, in another life, brother, I think we would be in a situation here where Keanu would love to work with Ava because
Yes.
I think, the nerdy interior of him probably really identifies with her. And I don't know if it's his physicality, his attitude. I'm not sure. She's just never trusted him, never really liked him as much as other people. She's more willing to not give him the same grace that she's willing to give some other people within this game.
Mhm.
All right. More excuses that she's going to give Zach here is that the Bond Alliance was basically broken back during Lauren's HOH. So it's
Mhm.
just like, you weren't really talking to me all that much, which, she's not wrong. Like,
That's
that's a
right.
good, reasonable thing to say. And I think Zach,
Yes.
in his heart of heart, he understands that. Like, Ava wasn't his number one. He might be upset or blindsided or anything else about it, but she doesn't owe him anything, including telling him ahead of time. Like, Zach went to Lauren after this big conversation and was kind of doing his huffing and puffing, and he was just, I cannot believe that I was not told ahead of time that I would be nominated. And I heard Rachel. She was giggling at the end of the ceremony. How dare she?
Yeah, I know. Listen, I know that a lot of people in the house do try to give it heads up to people
Yeah.
if they can and they want to, because you don't want to just burn people and just put them up. You've got to at that point hope that they go home, right?
Mhm.
But if you're doing that to multiple people, you're doing it to Vince, you're doing it to Zach, not both of them are going to go home. Like,
Yeah.
this is part of the jury management of it all. What if neither of them go home and you've made them feel like clowns and you make them feel like they can't work with you should they stay? Like, none of that is really helpful to you.
Well, and this is the other thing about Zach. He feels a little bit like a clown because he feels like Ava, before any of this happened, sort of gave him a thumbs up, and it's like, everything's gonna be okay, man. And he brought
Yeah.
this up to her, and she was just like, well, that was then, and this is now, and things have changed, and that's not really an answer you want.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because it's like even
Right?
later, Zach is still venting about this, whether it's to Lauren, to Mickey, to some other people. He's upset that Ava wouldn't make eye contact with them in the conversation after nomination. She didn't really give him any information. She didn't really tell him, okay, you know what? This is my target. So he doesn't really know anything. And I think that's probably frustrating for him because he does have that power. And it's like really hard for someone like him to navigate, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? Not really knowing who Ava actually wants out of the game.
Yeah, and that is, I mean, Ava doesn't know about the power, obviously, but that
Yeah.
is going to end up really biting her because if he doesn't have information, as someone who works really well with information, if I don't have information,
Yeah.
I spiral out like that too. Him not having the information, not knowing if he's actually like, listen, you're not the target. I'm going after Vince or I'm going after
Yeah.
Keanu. It's somebody else. You're not it. Don't worry. Without that, he's just going to end up using his power. It feels like he's going to use his power.
Yeah, and he has to use it himself. Like, we went back and we watched a little confessional from the start of this season. Like, this is not transferable. The veto is transferable. He can do whatever he wants with that in the event that he wins that. But it's like he has to use this on himself. So that's something he's probably thinking about. And he's also thinking a lot about, like, okay, I need to really be careful with who I choose to play in the veto if I get that opportunity, because I think it's somebody who he wants to make sure, like, would they save me or maybe would they save Vince? So I think he's having a lot of conversation somewhat in his head about all of this, like at the same exact time.
Yeah.
And what's kind of curious about all of this is that the person Zach really kind of wants to play for him is Riley. And he came to this conclusion about 20 minutes after Riley said to Catherine, you know what? I don't really want to play in the veto. And I think he doesn't want to because he doesn't want to pick between any of his bros. And then he's like showing where his bro allegiance was. Like eventually Zach did go and talk to Riley, and Riley was kind of like, yeah, sure, I'd rather keep you than these other two. And it's like, who knows if he's actually telling the truth with that or not.
Yeah, he's probably just hoping he doesn't get picked.
Yeah, like that's really the thing here. But okay, let's get into the reactions of some of these other people for a moment, these nominees. Vince, he's handling it a little better, honestly, than I thought he would. I think some of it comes from the fact that he was pretty anxious even before the ceremony, thinking that he could go up. So I don't think he was totally blindsided. He's just a really anxious person in general.
Yeah, which I also very much understand. I have pretty bad anxiety, so I get it. And this house also, it just makes you really paranoid. It makes you very anxious. There's nothing else to really do there except think yourself to death and think about this game and the other people that are in it. And everybody's paranoid all the time.
They are. And I think Vince is already trying to put on his tinfoil hat because Vince can never stop thinking. He always must have a one-on-one conversation with someone at every given point.
Yep.
He's like a shark. If he stops moving, he dies. But he had basically this idea that's like, okay, either me or Keanu is the target at this point. He feels like Zach is the only reason Zach is up there is because it makes a situation where Zach can't play veto for him and then take him down. So he's got that. And then you also have Vince talking to Will and sort of ranting and venting all his feelings. Will is just kind of just sitting there and hearing them. I love Will because if Will is not aligned with you, Will will barely give you the bare minimum. He'll just kind of sit there and be like, yeah, it's a tough game. It's a hard game. How are you feeling? What do you want to do about that? He is just stone-faced.
Yeah, and I mean, he's working really closely with Ava. So I mean, what are you going to do? I'm glad that Vince is sort of trying to chat with everybody that is there, whether they're close with Ava or not. But it's good.
Yeah, I love Will and Ava. I loved, Ava won the HOH. They were just like up drinking and ranting and having a good time. Like they're just really fun because they just feel like total opposites. I would have never imagined 50-year-old, like decade-long military veteran.
Team 50.
And the aura painter are going to be the best friends in the game. But it's a fun alliance to watch and sort of see how they both kind of interact with everybody.
And it kind of makes sense because they're both kind of outcasts and they're both really laid back.
Yeah, they are. And I think they both kind of understand this is a real opportunity to make a big move this week, which once again makes the whole Keanu part of this baffling. Like, here's another bit of evidence of this. Like, Ava's banking on the idea that she might have Riley and Catherine. And the reality is they're kind of sort of in the middle of the house, but Catherine is close to Lauren. Like they do have allegiances to the Vince side. And Riley and Zach have already Riley and Catherine, they've already talked about this and are basically like, if we have an opportunity to save Vince and not vote Vince out, like that's our number one priority. And then it's Zach and then it's Keanu. So it's already like, okay, if Keanu's on the block with one of those two, we're just going to get rid of Keanu. And then
he goes.
Ava's whole HOH is just kind of like, poof, sure, you got rid of Keanu, the person who's won some vetoes. Like, that's the only thing you can really claim on your resume at that point.
Yeah, it's just, he was really the biggest mistake of her nominations.
Yeah, and Keanu, I will say this, good for you, Keanu. You handled the nomination well, probably because I think at this point you're just like, yeah, I'm going up every week, and you're just prepared for it.
I know. We were kind of thinking that maybe he wasn't going to end up going up, but it feels like it's the normal Big Brother nomination cycle where once you're kind of going up a bit, you're just going up all the time.
I have some famous last words here for Keanu, is that Keanu told Kelly that he was like, after the nominations, this may be the first time that I don't have to win the power of veto. It's
Oh
like,
my
I'm
goodness.
sure you're still gonna try, Keanu. I don't think you have it in you not to. But don't say this. Don't make me stressed. We are Team Keanu. We have been riding at dawn for you. We can't tolerate this.
I know. I think he just knows that Vince is the target and he just isn't really part of the strategic game enough
Yeah.
to know that Vince has the vote.
Yeah, and Keanu, once again, you glorious delusional king. You had this conversation with Ava where you're just sort of like, I understand why you put me on the block. I get it. I blew up with you. But it's like, now we're even. Now we have this clean slate and we can start brand over. Should I bring up the Big Brother narrator now?
Yeah.
They're not even. Like, Ava's not going to forget. Ava's not suddenly going to be.
Good Don Wallman.
I was trying my best here. Ava is not going to suddenly become your friend, Keanu. I'm sorry. I know you would love for this to be even, but it's just not going to happen.
No, but I mean, it's good to try to smooth things out the
Yeah.
best that you can.
Yeah. So the likely replacement nominees in this situation is we have Lauren, who should have
Yep.
been up in the first place.
Yeah.
We have Morgan, which
Yeah.
I think would be really interesting. Like, I'm just going to come out and say it at this point. What I'm personally rooting for is I want as many power players in the house as long as humanly possible. So here we go. I want our guy Keanu to win the power of veto. I'm going to throw that out there. Zach's going to play his power. Vince is going to win the blockbuster. And we're going to be left with Lauren and Morgan on the block together. I feel like Morgan is too messy a player to be around long term anyway. So Morgan's just going to go this week. Lauren's not great TV, but I think Lauren's a better player than Morgan. And at
Yes,
this point,
you think?
yeah, at this
Oh, she
point, I know.
absolutely
I'm out here
is.
spitting hot takes
Oh
to
my
everybody.
God.
No,
No, she absolutely is. She's not exciting TV,
Yeah.
but most of the best Big Brother players are not.
yeah, I'm kind of at the point of the season now where I'm like, okay, I'm willing to let some more dramatic people fall at the wayside because I do want the winner to be actually somewhat decent at the game.
Yeah, I don't need to see like a final two of like two people in the clown car that have been going around. Like,
No.
we're gonna have the final two is gonna be Kelly and Keanu. Your winner is Kelly.
I
Like,
know.
what kind of season is this?
It's
This is
just
so messy.
Not okay. Speaking of messy, Ava. Okay, here's the thing. I love you. You're funny, but we need to have a talk a little bit about your dialogue about people being grown men. Because here's the thing.
I didn't like it.
I heard her say this at least 200 times today that Zach and Vince, you guys are grown men. You can handle your business being on the block yourself, and that a lot of people like Kelly and Amy just keep going up time and time again. It's your time. You haven't been on the block before. And I'm just sitting here and I'm being like, this is kind of disparaging one for Keanu because he has been up a number of times and he is not like,
Yes.
he's not some wallflower in the game. He's just a big, reckless, bad player. But like, he is someone who doesn't fit that description. But also,
No.
she's acting as though we've had male HOHs the entire game when really we had Vince, who did nominate Zay. Like, he did nominate a guy. It's not like he
Yes.
just avoided all the guys. And then Jimmy, who is the person responsible for Amy going, like,
Yes.
that was kind of sort of your ally. So I don't know why she's getting like this false narrative stuck in her head that it's just sort of like, oh, I need to have this, I don't want to say emotional argument because that implies that Ava's emotional, and I don't think that's what's happening here. I think she's
No.
strategic, but I think she's trying to come up with some sort of justifiable reason to explain to other people. And it's just, if I'm in this house, I'm not going to believe this idea because, yeah, at first I might feel a little bit like, oh, that's great. You're saving Kelly. You're standing up for Kelly. But then I am going to be like, wait, who are the people that we've had so far? And also, you're trying to talk about these other people, never being on the block before. Ava, you've never been on the block before.
In addition to this, we ended up having Ava just like watching Vince for a really long time on the monitors and just being like, look how guilty he looks. Look at how guilty he looks, which is not really anything that's real.
Yeah, it just feels, I don't know what it is. It just feels like she's trying to justify things in her head. And it's just like, really? Vince is just a great player. He's a great threat. Like, it's cool that you're taking him out and you don't need any of these other reasons.
No, I really wish that she would just be honest about what it is, which is that he is a threat. He is the best player in the game, and you want to get him out, and you should want to get him out for that reason. Focusing on him being basically, you got to be an adult. You're 10 years older than me, adult up. It's not for you to say. You're also an adult, Ava. You're 24 years old.
Yeah.
You're not a child. He's not a child. No one in this house is a child. I really like Ava for a lot of things, but not this. You don't need to be basically going up to him and being like, man up.
All right, finally, let's dive into Irony Corner here for a moment because Mickey, she had this whole idea that getting rid of Jimmy was because he's playing all sides of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey, you're basically playing all sides of the house. It's like you want Morgan still to think you're with her and with that Vinny and Zach and that side, and then you've got this other side. And it's like everyone is kind of aware of what you're doing at this point. It's just you're not that big of a target for now.
Yeah.
But that is where we are on this day 32 edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. So let us know, what do you guys think that Zach should do with this power if he wins the veto as well? Or how do you think all this crazy week is going to unfold? Let us know. Hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 75,000 and support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description below. We are covering over their countdown exclusively. Thank you so much. We will see you here next time.